What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I'm sitting outside of where it all began. Behind me is my old high school where I broke multiple records running up and down the field like a banshee, like a maniac, man. That's right. Up in the sky will be great big thunder, sounding out our battle cry. Still know the song and everything, but I ain't here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about all this systemic racism and injustice and all of that stuff that's going around. See, because we got a presidential candidate in the likes of creepy, sleepy, sloppy, slimy Joe, who feels that he's going to bring a lot of morality and peace and unity back into the country, because we all know that Donald Trump he's mean, he's a racist, misogynist, sexist, xenophobe, homophobe, and you just put whatever else you want to throw in there. It's like a melting pot of all types of atrocities that this man is responsible for. So creepy, sleepy, slimy, sloppy is going to bring some civility back to the United States after all of the rioting. Now, my gut tells me Joe Biden, who's been in office for 40 years and done nothing about civil rights except lie about it. Yeah, I was out marching with Martin Luther King and I pretty much saved Nelson Mandela. You didn't know that? I got him out of prison. I know the story's evolved. At first I said I got arrested for him. Now simply got him out of prison. So, creepy, sleepy, sloppy, who's been in politics for 40 years and done nothing except for help lock up black people. Now he's back on the scene, talking to more, guess who? Black people, pandering to them. And I'm sure that his staff is saying, why do we keep taking a chance letting this dude out of the basement? I mean, we had a false narrative going for about a week and a half. We had the corona going. Trump killed 200,000 folks and he's responsible for all these jobs that just disappeared. Then we shift and jumped on the bandwagon that Trump is responsible for all these riots and in the street. Then we even came in, sprinkled a little bit of Donald Trump. He's now becoming a king and a dictator, and he's putting the military out to kill just peaceful protesters. We were doing good with the false narratives. Then we stick creepy, sleepy, sloppy, slimy on a show talking to two brothers, and let's listen to what he had to say.
Well, Joe Biden insulting even more voters, his latest attack being compared to Hillary Clinton's 2016 deplorables comment.
What?
Take a look.
Okay.
Do we really think this is as good as we can be as a nation? I don't think the vast majority of people think that.
Wow.
There are probably anywhere from 10 to 15% of the people out there that are just not very good people.
Huh.
But that's not who we are.
Nope.
The vast majority of the people are decent. We have to appeal to that, and we have to unite people, bring them together.
Now, what I find very strange about that statement here, and his thing. One, Joe's not very good with numbers and percentages and stuff like that. I'm sure when he was going off the cuff, he didn't really. It was kind of like when had multi-millions of people get killed from gun violence. And I'm like, man, that's like half the population. I'm not sure if it. Yeah, I already lost 30,000 jobs, and all that stuff. I mean, he's not good with that. So maybe he didn't think about how many people that is out of all the Americans when you say 10 to 15% of the population. So we got roughly like 333 million Americans. Now, I'm just wondering, if somebody came to you and said, would you like 10% of 333 million? You would be like, how much is that? Okay, so at least 30 million. So that's what I'm walking. Yes, I do. That's a lot of cheese. So Joe Biden throws that out. Now, he might have been speaking Joe Biden. He got his own language. You got to kind of read in between lines, decipher. You'll never know. You never know what he's talking about. But Joe Biden throws that number out there and saying that amount of people are good people. Now, he's coming in piggybacking off of what we've been witnessing going around the United States in the streets. And Joe Biden, a couple days ago, comes in, gives a speech off a teleprompter talking about Donald Trump and how divisive he is and how he, even though he was, is that the 12 o'clock whistle? I don't know if y'all got that where y'all live, but yeah, we got the 12 o'clock whistle. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let the whistle play. I'm gonna go ahead and let Too Short get it in, blow the whistle, and then I'm gonna get right back to my thought. And I'm back. Thank you, Very Loud Whistle, for letting me know what time it is. I mean, I would think we don't even need that anymore. Everybody got cell phones and stuff, but you know what I mean. But I do like the nostalgia of the 12 o'clock whistle. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. So Joe Biden throws this arbitrary number out there, which is a lot of Americans now. But, you know, the Democrats, they operate in being very vague, you know, gray area. You know, don't hold them down or nothing. Don't hold them down or nothing. They just want you to embellish and go with your feelings and your imagination in regard to the inflated number of racist attacks in this country and all of this discrimination, you know, the whole gambit. So they just want you to not even stop and think about, wait a minute, hold on, let me do the math, 333 million plus people, that's a lot of people, Joe. Now, out of those 30 plus million people you're saying that aren't good people, that's enough people to sway an election, Joe. So then now what we have to do as Americans is try to figure out what category you fall in. Now, perhaps maybe he's talking about people like me who on one end fits the mold of what all the Democrats say they love. I'm a black man. I'm educated. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you would think they would love me. But does that disqualify me, Joe Biden? Because I supported Donald Trump, that white nationalist, racist, sexist, misogynist, Hitler, xenophobe, Ku Klux Klan member? Does that disqualify? Am I in that 30 million, that 10 to 15%? I'm just wondering, Joe. I mean, what happens when somebody sticks a mic in your face and asks you, who are you talking about? Because see, here's my thing. I need the president and them to bring me in to destroy the Democrats and the liberal media and ruin their narrative. You know why? Because all they have to do is ask Joe Biden a couple questions and watch him shoot himself in the foot. For example, Joe, the other day you mentioned that 10 to 15% of Americans aren't good people. Were you referring to the young black men that ran out of the jewelry store and one of them shot and killed a black police officer during the riots that you called protests? Huh? Now, let's see if Joe Biden is able to stand behind that statement on top of all of his other statements that pander towards black people. Because see, you're not supposed to attack people that are pushing your agenda and people that are, regardless of them breaking the law, burning stuff, hurting folks, if they are part of painting this narrative that Donald Trump's responsible for all of this racism and all these protests and stuff like that and police, brutality and all that stuff, you can't condemn none of them. And that's the problem. See, because in that category, you got to ask them some questions. That's a lot of people, Joe. Would you be referring to the maybe 2-3 million prisoners in the United States, which a high percentage of them are black? I mean, considering they're already in prison, Joe, are you talking about them? Because see, maybe you didn't factor them into the 30 million citizens that aren't locked up that you're saying that are bad. I mean, that 30 million people of the percentage you gave that, you claim are bad people, but they're not locked up. So are we including the prisoners? And then my question too, Joe, I watched the video footage of all the riots. I saw women being beat by people who should be given diplomatic immunity under the riots because, see, they were black that was doing this. I saw a lady get on and say, one of my brothers, a black dude participating in the riots, pulled a gun on me. Now, is he one of those not very good people? The hundreds and hundreds of black kids that I saw breaking stuff out, beating people, terrorizing their own people, are they that? Or do they get a pass because, they fall into, protected class, which is a class that supports the Democrat narratives? What about MS-13? I mean, can we sprinkle them into that 30 million plus people? No? Okay. All right. So what about all of those people? What about your buddies? What about your buddies that committed, white collar crimes? Even yourself, Joe. Are you not a very good person based on all the stuff that you've been accused of doing and probably have done, just because you're protected by your friends and all don't mean the evidence ain't pointing towards you. So I'm just wondering, when you say, 10 to 15% of us, that's a lot of people, Joe. You need to be a little more specific so that we won't have a problem knowing who we should vote for. We want to know where we fall. And that's all I'm saying, Joe. Now, I'm sure Joe's talking about all of these white privileged, middle-class white nationalists that are supporting Trump because of all of his racism, sexism, and xenophobia. I'm sure that's probably who he's talking about, even though these people are probably law-abiding citizens. Even though those people who protested up in Michigan never broke the law, but because they brought their guns and they're probably most likely supporters of President Trump, he's going to probably throw them into that category, right? And you wonder why y'all lost the election against Trump. You wonder why people listen to this type of rhetoric and say, see, I can never vote for them. Because they are missing the point of what bothers Americans, middle-class Americans. It's not racism, it's not sexism, it's not xenophobia. It is law and order. And do I feel protected and safe? Is my government serving me properly? Are they taking advantage of me? Or are they trying to look out for my best interest, unlike you, Joe Biden, who was in office for over 40 years plus, now trying to make a late out of the retirement comeback and ain't got a good resume to show for it, but yet talking about 10 to 15% of Americans aren't good people. Probably because of all of this systemic racism, perhaps. And see, in closing, I'm about to give y'all a revelation about why the Democrats always want to come up with terms that you can't really identify things. They like it to be kind of gray, where you can't really locate the problem. Because see, if you can actually find the enemy, then you can kill him. See, it's kind of like, the devil. A lot of people say, man, I'm struggling with sin. I'd rather just find the devil and beat him up. But, since he's invisible, I ain't got nobody to punch on. I got to go and beat him up in prayer or in the word of God or something. But I can't swing on him. And I almost feel like it'd be easy if I could just see him like, okay, it's me and you, Satan. Well, when you create this invisible entity that nobody can put a finger on, now you can continue to use that and say you're fighting against it. You want to identify it out there somewhere mystically and pretend you're not a part of the problem but the solution, even though you came up with the concept, put it in people's heads, and then have no suggestions or way to find these mysterious things and deal with them. So it's just systemic racism. That would be like you tracing where a fart came from. I mean, you smell it, you know somebody did it, you know it's in the atmosphere. You're like, man, who farted? And nobody claims the fart. You smell it. Now, here's the point. If you can't find out who was responsible for that break when, then what are you going to do? Who are you going to punish? All you can do is say, man, there's farts out there in the atmosphere and everybody has responsible for farting. No, the person in the crowd that farted and we heard, we're going, hey, man, that dude farted. So don't try to blame us all in here for farting in public and then walking through the crowd, crop dusting everybody with your fart smells. So if you can't identify the farter, then don't just say there's some farts in here, therefore all of us are responsible for the fart. But yet we can't see the fart. We looking around like, I smell it, but I don't know where it came from, so I'm just gonna blame everybody. Bring me to the person who broke when, Joe. So with this systemic racism just floating around, where, what places, what companies, what people, show me them, we'll deal with them. But just to say it's out there, and at any given moment, it can rear its ugly head in all of you. So I'm gonna guilt all of you white Americans and make y'all feel like y'all are part of the problem. And therefore, anything you rise up and say or do that don't really meet our liberal agenda, we'll just pull out the, systemic racist card on you and try to shut you up. See, so that's why they like to come up with concepts like this. So you can't really identify it, and they just tell you, it's out there. It's the boogeyman. I know you can't see him, but trust us, he's out there. So anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. The Republicans need to start calling these nasty, crooked Democrats out and all of their hypocrisy. They need to put mics in their face. They need
Here's
to
what I found on the web.
How you like Google? I didn't ask you to say that. See, spooky. Anyway, my point is they need to start doing this so that it can point out to everyone, not just the people who follow politics like us, but the naive people who trust these folks and think that they're legit. Run montages, man, on mainstream TV. You ain't even got to talk about your policies. They never do. Just the fact that you could put together reels of them flip-flopping all over the place, it would destroy them. And anybody that would vote for them would have to admit, I'm a hypocrite too, because I believed all that garbage, and then I saw a montage of all their hypocrisy. But I'm just going to swallow my pride and say, you know what, forget it. I don't care. Trump's just worse, man. I'm going to go ahead and vote for them anyway. So do what you do. But I ain't going to fall for the shenanigans. Now, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. Joe, if you're out there creepy, sleepy, sloppy, slimy, just give me a call. I just want to know where I stand. Am I one of the 10, 15% of not good people? You let me know. Get back with me. Anyway, God bless. Check y'all out next time in Kevin's Corner. Don't forget, every Wednesday night, 7:30 live, on Facebook, YouTube, my radio blog talk show. Hit like, share, subscribe, notification button. Make sure that your notifications are set to all and that you're still subscribed. Check out Extreme Tees, my sponsor. If you like their products, put Kevin in a promo code, you'll get a 20% discount. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. God bless. We'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner.